We have in today's newspaper an advertisement to put infrastructure.
Each of the county governments has identified at least 5 value chains that are visible for aggregation and high prospects for value addition.
It is so significant that this event is taking place here when we are celebrating 60 years of independence.
We are working on the incentive framework for diaspora remittances.
We have in today's newspaper an advertisement to put infrastructure and the first phase of 6 special economic zones in Kenya that have already been gazetted. The 6 special economic zones are targeting opportunities like the one my brother here is talking about. Export-led, incentivized investments. We are targeting FDI on one side. We are targeting exports of different products on the other hand, and we are building an ecosystem that will facilitate, fast track, enable that to happen fast. So we have a special economic zone here in Thika, we have one in Sagana, we have one in Nakuru, we have Dongo Kundu, we have Naivasha, we have Busia, we have Eldoret. We are looking at other opportunities in different parts of Kenya. But it has to be targeted, and we need to know what are we trying to achieve. For example, the one in Thika, our focus is going to be pharmaceutical companies. We want to be specific so that, because we still import 70% of our pharmaceutical commodities and products to Kenya. And it is part of the reason why I was having a conversation last week with Prime Minister Modi, because we are importing almost 50% of all those products from India. And my conversation with him was, we cannot continue doing this. He has to mobilize his companies to come and invest in Kenya with Kenyan companies, to employ Kenyans, and to produce products for Kenya and for Africa from Nairobi. Kenya is a great tech ecosystem. We have young people. We have an ecosystem that actually has huge talent, enormous expertise, creative, innovative people. And that potential, unless it's turned into opportunity and monetized, becomes a waste. And it is the reason why we have, as one of the pillars of this administration, a digital superhighway with all the attendant issues around it. We want to use the technology, we want to use the digital space to use it as an enabler of all the other government services, whether we are discussing agriculture, whether we are discussing health, whether we are discussing manufacturing. Technology and the digital space is going to be our greatest enabler. It is the reason why we made the deliberate decision that we want every government service first to be on the digital space. We now have close to 90% of government services in the digital space. Last year, we had only 350 government services. Today, we have 14,000. And we are continuing to discover some more. In fact, when we started, we thought we had 10,000 government services. We discovered that there were more than 10,000 because of what my good brother there has said, data. Now we are building a bigger ecosystem of data. We can make decisions with clarity. We can make decisions with specificity we can know we are intervening here. Let me give you an example. We decided to register all farmers. 5,000 farmers of them we now have on our digital space. And we decided for the first time to distribute fertilizer using an e-voucher. The results are amazing. For the first time, we didn't have the kind of pilferage, theft, corruption that always accompany distribution of fertilizer. So we are already getting value for leveraging on technology. Let me also say that, Konza and the Silicon Savannah is not a place. It is not at the river. It is a mindset. It's a whole, it's a whole thinking. So, sometimes I find people, they go and lock themselves up in at the river. That's that's not what it is. It is the whole ecosystem that we are building around technology. In fact, we just found partners to do the data centers, which will be in Naivasha. We are leveraging on the green energy to sell data centers as a green product from Kenya. It is the only place you will have green data, and we are going to make this available globally. So that whole space, I don't know, I think I have said too many things. I'm just trying to give you the buffet of what we are doing in the technology and digital space. Just before I came to this meeting, we were having a conversation with my CS for health on how we are going to digitize, actually the journey for digitization of our health records. Because we need to make health records portable. We need to make the whole health ecosystem from commodities, prescriptions, claims, interoperable so that it becomes a lot easier. And in the process, we will gather a lot of data on prevalence of diseases, what do we do with our commodities. KEMSA is going to be a different place after we digitize that whole ecosystem. In fact, by June next year, you will have a different experience with our health provision, again, because of technology. And that's the reason why we have big pushback from people who do not want us to digitize health. That's why they've gone to court. They want to stop us because they run remote hospitals that do not exist. We were being briefed about a hospital in Kinoo that is doing more surgeries than Aga Khan and Nairobi hospital combined. So I sent my CS, can you go and look at this miracle place? And those are the people who have gone to court because they don't want us to digitize the space so that they can continue to game NHIF. I promise you, we will stop them. And we are going to digitize this space.
I was, maybe 2 weeks ago, as we were at the COP event, led by His Excellency the President, one of the news items that was running was that the Saudi Investment Fund had taken up 12% shares in Heathrow Airport. The Saudi Investment Fund purchasing 12% of Heathrow Airport. Now, I bring this as a vivid example because as the Saudi invest 12% in Heathrow Airport, have they uprooted it from London and taken it to Riyadh? It still remains an asset in the United Kingdom, but they are part of the profit process. We need to get our people to understand that when we talk about broadening the space, it's to bring in capital, to bring in technology, to bring in resources that you may not be able to raise on the local front. Now, it's this kind of engagement that I'll be putting across to you as members of the diaspora to enrich that debate on the local scene so that the broader aspects of us drawing capital and bringing in FDI can be seen from a broader perspective. We were having a light moment with the president here, and somebody said, why are you selling KICC? The government talked about privatization. They did not talk about disposal of KICC. Two distinct things. What would be wrong if part of the diaspora fund was to become a fund that invests, the Kenyan diaspora fund becomes part of the partnership in actually commercializing the KICC operations, but it is also an investment that benefits you and benefits the people of Kenya. So these are some of the engagements that I would say that might be very, very useful as you converse, so that we help in enriching debate here and broadening exposure, so that people don't start imagining that the government of Kenya is on some kind of free-for-all disposal activity. That is not the case. It is so significant that this event is taking place here when we are celebrating 60 years of independence. That is a critical milestone. The message here is that the Kenyan diaspora has truly come of age, and it is therefore important that they take their rightful space in the development agenda of our country. A few days ago, I was in the UK, and I had an opportunity to interact with the diaspora there. They are raring to go. They want their footprint broadened. And therefore, this gathering here will give us that opportunity to enable that to happen. My request to you is that we need your help to also inform debate on the local scene.
Each of the county governments has identified at least 5 value chains that are visible for aggregation and high prospects for value addition and industrialization. County governments are therefore seeking partnership with you and your networks to accelerate the growth of counties as industrial hubs. Ladies and gentlemen, some of the investment areas where we see great potential for investment and therefore collaboration include in the agriculture and agribusiness. Our counties offer vast arable land and favorable climatic conditions for a wide range of crops. 2 manufacturing and industrial parks. Kenya is strategically positioned as a regional hub for manufacturing. Our counties are establishing county industrial parks, offering prime locations for the diaspora community to establish manufacturing plants. 3, renewable energy. The potential for renewable energy projects in Kenya is enormous. Our counties have significant solar and wind energy potential, making them ideal for investment in clean energy solutions. Our infrastructure development. Kenya's rapid urbanization requires substantial infrastructure development. Investment opportunities abound in the construction of roads, bridges, and other critical infrastructure projects. Healthcare and pharmaceuticals. The healthcare sector in Kenya presents a wide range of investment prospects. We can explore construction and management of modern medical facilities and manufacturing of pharmaceutical products. Tourism and hospitality. Kenya's rich biodiversity and breathtaking landscapes and culture make it a premier tourist destination. Counties offer investment opportunities in eco-lodges, hotels, desert drives, and related tourism services. ICT and technology. Kenya's technology sector is dynamic and growing. Counties are creating innovation hubs and technology parks. Housing and real estate. The increasing urban population creates a significant demand for housing and real estate. Collaborations in affordable housing and related infrastructure projects are ripe for investment. Finally, education and skills development. Investment opportunities in the education sector include establishing training institutions, vocational centers, and e-learning platforms to enhance the skills and knowledge of our workforce.
We are working on the incentive framework for diaspora remittances, and very early on you gave me a target of shillings 1 trillion in remittances, which I am happy to report we are working very hard on. We have seen a 14.1% increase in our remittances in this year, and we expect to close in a strong position. Excellency. Some of the things we've been able to do working with the CBK and others have been to launch, for example, the DAO CSD that now allows diasporians to buy treasury bills and bonds from an app or from a web platform. Excellency, as you're aware, you also gave us the very hard task of finding diaspora jobs for Kenyans, and together with the State Department for Labor and Skills and Social Protection and Skills, and the entire ministry and other players, sir, we have embarked on the Global Labor Market Strategy. And sir, to thank you for creating the Diaspora Placement Agency that now targets our ability to really take up the fruit of our bilateral labor agreements and be able to find opportunities for Kenyans abroad.
Leather is one of the lowest hanging fruits that we have. Why? Kenya is the third largest holder of livestock in Africa. We have the third largest herd, Kenya. And we are still importing everything leather. What are we doing with our, and by the way, we slaughter about 3 million heads of livestock every year, from cows to camels and sheep and goats. This year, we have money in the budget specifically for leather. We are finalizing 3 tanneries. We are investing in completing 3 tanneries, one in Kenania here, another one in Narok, and one more place. It is the reason, and I say this with a lot of clarity, it is the reason why, again, today, our PS, Principal Secretary for Livestock, is in India. Because I had a conversation with Prime Minister Modi on their Leather Institute and Footwear Institute and how we can create a partnership. And I promised him that I would send my PS to sit down with what is going on in India, because there is a lot we can leverage on technology. There is a lot we can work with other stakeholders. And my intention is that, and I have said it publicly, we must have a sunset clause on the day we are going to be importing shoes into Kenya. We must produce leather products from Kenya because we have the leather, we have the hides and skin in plenty, We have the human capital at home. We have the market in Kenya.